Today we're going to do something different on this channel because we've already done enough reviews of laptops and smartphones, and now let's go back to PC components. Now DeepCool has decided to send me their latest GamerStorm Macube 310 white casing that you're seeing right here. This is a really cool casing that I would like to tell you a couple of things that I like about it, and to complete the entire PC building experience, they have decided to send me this cooler as well, the DeepCool AS500 blower type cooler that is in white color to match my mobile. Even though my motherboard here is not entirely white, but then still looks good. This is a ASRock X570 Steel Legend, which is my existing PC that I'm using right now. But before we get to all that PC building on the casing, let's take a look at what's really cool about the Macube 310 casing. So when I first took out the Macube 310 from the box, I was actually pretty impressed with the features that it has right here. But before we get to the internals and show some of the stuff, I'm going to talk to you about the ports that it has up here. So on top here, we have two audio jacks, one for the microphone and the other one is for the headphone output, and we have two full-size USB ports here. Now I am a little disappointed that it doesn't have a USB-C port on top, because I think that's kind of the standard these days that you should have, because most motherboards already supports a USB-C connector onto the chassis. So this is something that DeepCool would really want to consider adding in the future. Now, in terms of the features of this case, it's mostly toolless, by the way, which is why it makes this casing so impressive. Starting from the front face over here. Now you can actually take this out very easily. So this is how you take it out. It simply comes off easily. So on the front here, you can actually add a 360mm radiator if you actually want to. And on the side here, if you look at the casing here, there is actually a mesh that lets air flow through. So basically, air will be sucked in by the fan to going through here and to cool your entire system, right? And guess what? The top part here is also removable, just like this. There's no screws needed. Now on top here, you can of course mount another 360mm radiator as well if you actually want to, or if you prefer to mount it on the top rather than the front here. So it's actually pretty simple to take it out and to install your radiator right on top here. Now on the side here, as usual, you get a tempered glass window that you can take it up just like this. It is held by magnets, by the way. These two are, when you actually put it in, it's actually held by very strong magnets. Though I would still recommend that you install a bracket right behind here to screw it properly, just in case you accidentally take it out and break the tempered glass, which some people actually do so. On the side here, which is the other side of the case, you can also take it out just like this, and it's also held by magnets as well, which is actually pretty sweet. You don't really need a screwdriver to unscrew these two parts if you want to get access to your internals to change something else. So on the right side of the chassis here, you get two Velcro straps that secures these cables, and it is held on by a Phillips screw, which is actually pretty cool here. And of course, you do get two 2.5-inch drive bays, and at the bottom here, you get the 3.5-inch hard drive cage, which is secured by two Phillips screws as well. So you do need to unscrew this to get the cage out to install your hard drive. Now on the top over here, this is one thing that surprises me because not many casings actually come with this controller. This is basically a fan controller. It's an all-in-one controller, so you don't need to worry if your motherboard has enough of fan controls or not, because you just use a single cable to power all four cooling fans if you actually want to. Now moving over to the left side of the casing, which is where you would install your motherboard on. Now you do get a couple of flaps right over here for inserting cables, and you get a graphics card holder right over here if you intend to mount your GPU vertically. Moving on to the back over here, this is how it looks like. So you need to remove this Phillips screw here to get this bracket out so that you can start to install your GPU and other components. Now of course, DeepCool is also kind enough to provide a 120mm cooling fan right over here, which is not RGB, by the way, thankfully, because if someone were to get this casing, I believe those wouldn't want any flashy RGB right inside their case.
Overall, the Macube 310 offers an extremely enjoyable PC building experience. I managed to install the motherboard securely without getting it stuck onto the support screw like I usually encounter on budget cases. My Radeon RX 6900 XT also went into the case effortlessly despite its really huge size. In terms of cable management, the Macube 310 offers a fair amount of holes for cables to run through, although I have to say that the rubber grommets aren't great as they come up pretty easily if you are pushing through a chunk of cables. I have to admit that I'm not the best when it comes to cable management skills, hence the mess you see on the right side of the case, but I was pretty surprised that the magnets were able to hold on the right panel without any issues. The AS500 Plus white cooler provided by DeepCool isn't too difficult to install after going through the manual. I did get a little confused on removing the existing CPU bracket off the motherboard, but it wasn't too much trouble. You will also have to take off 2 of the cooling fans to get access to the screws that secures onto the bracket. It fits in the Macube 310 just fine while almost touching the glass panel while it's closed. In terms of cooling performance, the AS500 Plus is a very silent cooler despite on full load, and it managed to suppress the temperature of my Ryzen 7 3700X CPU to an average 73.5 degrees Celsius during gaming. If I'm doing productivity tasks, it averages 64.3 degrees Celsius.
So there you have it, guys. This is a quick look and a review of the GamerStorm Macube 310 chassis. I think this is a really decent mid-tower ATX chassis that doesn't cost your wallet a lot. And I think you should really get this white colored chassis if you're thinking to build an all-white gaming PC setup. So that's pretty much for today's video. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for more on KLGadgetTV. Definitely stay subscribed and be sure to follow us on social media and check out our e-store, Good Deals by KLGG, at deals.klgadgetguy.com. I'm Warren with KLGadgetTV and I will see you in our next video.